ReWilding's Embodied Astrology for October 20th. What makes this so big, this moon? This is huge. I want to give you some themes, I want to give you some archetypes, and I want to give you some practices, some embodiment practices, maybe some ritual ideas as well on how to work in this energy where, let's face it, the veils are incredibly thin. There is a huge spotlight shining on our shadow selves. The dark goddess is dancing ferociously. So dark goddess, dark feminine, not dark bad, but dark as in like the underground aspects of the feminine, the typically not so accepted aspects of the feminine, still completely gift-filled, sometimes even more so, completely love-filled, completely grace-filled, but oftentimes shamed. Also, the dark masculine, dancing strongly and loudly and calling us in, really calling us into a deeper level of integrity with ourselves. This can be crazy uncomfortable right now. So I invite you to go through this. What is this? This is kind of an experience. For me, I would love for this to be an experience for you, an exploration for you. That's my aim it's why we call it like rewilding, right? And it's embodied. So it's gritty, it's tangible, it's earthy. I would love for this to be beyond just the mental realm. And by the way, if you're listening to this before the 18th, Mercury, which is the mental realm, is the representation of that aspect of self in astrology. Mercury is retrograde. I know we hear lots of like surface level shit about Mercury retrograde, like, oh my God, my computer's gonna break. Communications are terrible. It is far deeper than that, far deeper than that. So maybe I'll start there with have gone through a few weeks of the mental realm looking within. And being in the sign of Libra, looking within around relationship. Now, this could be relationship to person, relationship to work, relationship to self, relationship to health, physical health, relationship to spirit, relationship. It can be any kind of relationship. And so that's something I've done another video on this too. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, go back to the new moon. Those things are still valid. So those themes are still valid. And our new moon astrology, embodied astrology video will talk more about this Mercury retrograde. And there's still a ton of time to reflect on this. So know that over the next couple of weeks, Mercury will now be changing direct on the 18th, but then going back over all of the places that we were asked to revise, revisit, review, right? All of the places that we've just been through, all of the internal things. And so now, once he goes direct, you can feel into, okay, have I unearthed or uncovered some insights around relationship? Have I seen, I know I have, in intense ways, and it's not just intimate relationship. I know we think relationship and we automatically go like, is this significant other? But it's not. It's far, 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 far greater than that. Even my relationship to the natural world, that was a big one for me. My relationship to the natural world, my relationship to my work in the world was a big one for me. So you feel into kind of what's been top of mind. And then this full moon, my sense is that there's so much energy going on right now with, I'll talk more about it, but there's so many squares, there's so many challenging aspects, there's so many planets that have gone from retrograde to direct, there's so much moving that it's gonna take a little while for this Mercury retrograde it's gonna take a little while for us to translate what the hell just happened. So if you're feeling like, I don't know what these insights are, Sabrina, that's okay. That's so okay. It's like we're still in the cooker. So imagine we're in the cooker, and when you're in a cooker, you're going from one form to another, right? So this like alchemical transformation is happening. So you're going from, maybe you're in a boiling pot and you're going from water to steam, right? You're changing form, changing shape. So this full moon is really feeling like we are in this alchemical cooker still, and it's extending the Mercury retrograde a little bit just because of where it's falling. Mercury turns direct on the 18th to the 20th. So honor the fact that Mercury is the mind, and what it is that we mostly try to comprehend things with is the mind, right? So can you just feel that? Like the thing that we try to figure out life with is in the cooker still. It's still in a transition phase. It's still looking within. It's still just not quite working in the way that it will. It's not quite able to translate what we've seen over the last couple of weeks or felt, or what has arisen, or just what life events have even come up for us. So really just honor and give yourself space over the next couple of days. It's really great to give yourself space and time to reflect now. That can be reflecting with friends. I know our team meeting, so our ReWilding team meeting, we come together and we're all ready. We're gung-ho. There's 4 of us women. We're gung-ho and we're ready to talk about, marketing plans and what are the programs we're putting out in this 3-day challenge. By the way, this is a great support for this full moon, is the ReWilding for Women's free, totally free, 3-day challenge over Halloween weekend. That's the best embodiment practice that I can give you, is 3 full days of full-on embodiment practices. We're diving deep into the witch, the medicine woman, dark goddess territory, diving deep into also working directly with Shakti in the form of spiritual awakening. Shakti in the form of spiritual awakening, embodied spiritual awakening energy. Some can call that Kundalini. I don't know that I necessarily like calling it that term because it comes with like 8 suitcases full of baggage. But that's available. You'll find it up here. You'll also find it in the description. If you're listening, go to the website, rewildingforwomen.com. But the team comes together. We're meant to talk about all of these things, strategy, right? Like a proper, whatever that means, business meeting. But what ends up being the most useful thing that we can do is just dive deep into where are we at? And holding this big, deep space for what is going on in your life. Let's go deep and let's ask questions that take each other even deeper. There is a depth that's going on right now, and this is partially because of Pluto. Dark God, dark masculine energy is just, he is having his way. He is having his way. He is not letting go, this guy, right? He, a few weeks ago or a week ago, he went direct. That's a big move. He's squaring this moon, right? So when it's a full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite each other. He's squaring it, of course. He's not letting go. He's not letting go. Now let's feel into Pluto energy as we're kind of, I'll bring it back to the story of, it's like this asking to go, like, what's just under there? What's just under there? And so in the team meeting, I'll bring it back to the team meeting in this example, it's asking questions, like listening so deeply, being so there. This is Pluto's gift. This is Pluto's gift. I've done a ton of podcasts on the dark masculine gifts, and you find links up here and down here too. It's, I think, anyways, I don't need to go into that, but part of Pluto's gift, the dark masculine's gift, when it's operating, right? When it's operating at a high level. So a lot of times there's a lot of distortion around it, but when operating at a high level and working with just the straight up energy of it, not trying to dance with it in another human being, but just working straight up with the energy of it. And the gift of that dark masculine energy is that it permeates and penetrates into places that you are not yet comfortable with. part of Pluto's gift, Hades' gift, is to love the places that make you squirm, is to love the places that scare you. That's something to work on and reflect on and do practice around, right? What parts of myself scare me? And this is that radical honesty piece that we're always talking about. Just get real. I mean, this is a time to get so real and so vulnerable with yourself or with others who can really hold good space with you. So feeling into that question, like where am I scared to go? This is a great practice. So here's a Sabrina secret. The Sabrina secret, a rewilding secret. Oftentimes when I'm facilitating an embodiment exercise or exploration, and I will ask the question, we'll be in an altered state, we'll be way beyond the mind, and I'll ask the question, okay, now where is it that you don't want that energy to go? So you just call in Pluto energy, right? Call in pure Pluto energy. This is divine masculine energy in the form of dark masculine, which doesn't mean that it's not totally divine. It's just a flavor. It's just a flavor. It's the same thing as the feminine. It's the same thing as the feminine. There are many different flavors of the divine feminine. Dark goddess is one of those flavors. Same thing with the masculine. There are many flavors of the divine masculine. One flavor is dark masculine. So you call in this energy that is loves the unlovable, that has the capacity to bring awareness and presence to anything. The things that you can't sit with in yourself, he is able to not just sit with, he's able to keep you there, right? In a way that you can't keep yourself there because you try to sneak out, skate out, dance around it. You get all nervous and wiggly and you'll start giggling or whatever it is that the defense mechanisms are around it, the ways that we protect our unconscious, the ways that we protect ourselves from the parts that are not comfortable to us. He literally just keeps you there. Not just keeps you there, he has this fucking capacity to just love whatever it is. To just love whatever it is that you cannot love about yourself, right? He just has full acceptance of it, full understanding of it, full acceptance of it. It is profound what dark masculine gifts us with, and that's what is on offer right now. When we work with it in that way, I know that we are doing this Rewilding for Women challenge, and it is very much about working with the feminine and embodying the feminine. But I have a very good sense that during that challenge over Halloween weekend, we will be working with dark masculine energy. We will be working with this Pluto energy and the gift that is to the feminine. The gift that is to the feminine. Can you feel that? Can you feel how feminine reclamation isn't just about, okay, let me really embody the feminine. Let me call her up, rise of the feminine, right? Let me call her up. Let me dance her in. Let me sing her in. Let me embody, let me bring in the Shakti. Sometimes the thing that invokes the Shakti is the masculine. Sometimes the thing that is the greatest gift is that masculine piece of let me love this part that you can't love. Let me bring light to that hidden place that you can't bring light to. Let me bring consciousness to it. Let me bring full acceptance to something that you have a hard time accepting. So here's the question. What is it that you are having a hard time accepting about yourself? Sabrina, I have a hard time accepting Sabrina, I have a hard time accepting this. I have a hard time accepting this. I have a hard time loving this part of myself, loving this part of my life, loving this pattern, loving this habit, loving this expression of me, loving what is it? What is it? And then you call him in and you ask for his grace and his love. His love is love the unlovable, loves the unlovable. So that's a huge thing. Can we bring in and call it in? Just call it in. Call it in. Find those places within, here's your embodiment practice. Find those places within, let's just say it's our body image, our weight. Let's just go with that. I'm having a really hard time loving my body. I'm having a really hard time loving my body. And I know a lot of us can relate to this in some way. I can relate to this in lots of ways. I'm having a hard time loving my body. And then it's kind of like you hold that in your awareness, you hold that in your focus, and then you call it in. Call in that divine masculine essence, right? And some of us have this experience. I'll give you this really tangible experience. For me, when I was younger, I didn't have a great relationship with my yoni, with my blood, with my bleeding, with like my cycle, with any of that. And it was the masculine in a man form, but it was the divine masculine going, you are so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I've talked about this in a podcast. I've shared these stories. Like, it was actually the masculine that gifted me with right relationship to my blood. Gifted me with right relationship to being bloated every month and feeling like I was gross. I was one of those women where this is gross. This is gross. I grew up in that kind of a household and that kind of an environment and that kind of a, social stigmas and all of that stuff. I grew up with that, and it was the masculine who loved the unlovable. I couldn't love that. Now I love bleeding. I love my cycle. I love my body. I love my yoni. I love all of it, like all parts of it. But it was the gift from masculine essence. It was that. So feeling into whatever it is, and if it's, let's just say body, sticking with that example, and just calling in. If you don't have someone in your life that can love in that way, like it's not coming through a human being, just call it in. Call in the essence of the divine masculine. Just, if you're not comfortable with working with divine masculine, there's also, you can call in the midwives. So some of us have a real hard time working with masculine energy and letting ourselves receive the gift of masculine energy, right? So just know that that's where you're at, and that's the thing, and maybe you'll get to work on that at some point, but you might not be called to. If that's the case, call in the medicine women, right? So if you're working with this unlovable place and you're finding that this is coming up for you, this unconscious territory, because this is all about unconscious territory, all about it. I mean, we have Nynx conjunct Mercury going direct, right? That's goddess of the night. That's dark goddess. We have Aries still up in the mix. That is dark goddess. We still have Kali conjunct Saturn, dark goddess. We have, let me just pull up the chart here. We have Persephone dancing with Ceres, dancing with Black Moon. This is one of those places where I feel like that mix right there, Ceres, Demeter, that's mother, right? That's mother. That's big mama energy mixed with Persephone, who's her daughter, right? Persephone, queen of the underworld. That's actually Pluto's consort. Pluto's, right? Hades and Persephone. And mixed with Black Moon, which is the conglomerate of all the dark goddess energy. So that, if you're feeling like, Sabrina, I cannot call in the divine masculine to help me love my blood. Cool. Call in this aspect. Call in dark mother. Call in dark mother. Stay tuned. I have a great conversation coming out with Andrew Harvey, I think on the 20th. What day is this moon? Give me 1 second. I want to let you know for sure what day that's coming out. Actually, it's coming out on the moon. Of course, the Andrew Harvey interview comes out on the full moon. So stay tuned for that. We'll put a link all over the place as soon as that comes out, but that will come out on the 20th. We talk about the dark mother. We talk about the gifts of the dark mother. Okay, so really and truly, a beautiful practice for this full moon is dive into this territory. dive into what have I been avoiding. There are these words that I read that I love. The shadow area that our rational self tends to avoid. The shadow area that our rational self tends to avoid. Whatever that is, reflect on that, dive into that, ask someone if you can't get there. Let the veils be thin. Let yourself, when you can hold yourself with a lot of compassion and a lot of love. So we also have to wrap ourselves in compassion and love, or we will keep hiding them because we already judge them. So the more that we are judgmental about things, the deeper we bury them. So wrap yourselves, call up Great Mother or whatever it is that allows you to feel safe. This is a lot about safety, Feel into what do I need to feel safe, to feel held, to feel loved. Lean into unconditional loving energy. For some of us, it's not unconditional loving mother. Maybe it's Mother Earth, right? Unconditional loving Gaia. But lean into unconditional love and just be held. And I am perfect in my brokenness. I am perfect in my woundedness. So this is also Chiron coming in now. Chiron is huge in this particular full moon, and with Mercury going direct, huge. So just know Chiron, wounded healer. I am perfect in my woundedness. I am a piece of the divine there's an awesome meditation. This is a great recommendation. So it's the follow-up to the Robert Ohado podcast. And I do this meditation on really, really, really honoring our wounds, honoring our perfection. And it's not that we bring light and grace and love through, or our own divinity or our soul expression through. Despite our wounds, we bring them right on through our wounds. This is going to be extremely powerful. I'm glad I thought of this. To do during this full moon. So if you're like, Sabrina, I don't know how to set up a full moon ritual. I don't know how to take myself into a guide, into a meditation. I don't know how to do these practices. We have them for you. I have them for you, right? Look at the link up there and down below, you'll find it. That's a genius one to go in around this whole territory. But also I want to shift over into talking a little bit about Chiron, talking about warrior midwife. Well, so this is wild to me in this Andrew Harvey podcast. I love how this world works. It blows my mind, right? Which is coming out on the full moon. And he talks about, we talk about sacred androgyne and sacred union and the divine masculine and the divine feminine and the union of the two, spirit and soul. Bringing soul into man. I don't need to go into that. I think you know what I'm saying. But he uses the term warrior and midwife. Warrior for the masculine, midwife for the feminine. I love that. We could use many, many, many terms. But I had not heard those two terms come together. And I look at this astrology, and that is exactly what I see. Mars is conjunct the sun. Mars is conjunct the sun, also conjunct Medusa. Medusa carries midwife magic. Medusa, in her archetypal energy, carries medicine woman, huge medicine woman, which is midwife. Not just midwife of babies, midwife of the fucking soul. She is midwife of sacred sexuality. So Medusa, now we're going to dive into this. So if you feel into Medusa, conjunct Mars, Medusa, midwife, Mars, warrior. It is exactly what that conversation was about. So those two combining to be conjunct the sun, which is obviously opposite the moon. We've already talked about that during a full moon, but they're lit up. So if we can lean into, here's something that I'm going to offer you. This is more shadow work. This is so shadowy. This full moon is just shadow work. And you might be going, Sabrina, but the fruits of it are unbelievable. We will go deeper and deeper into our own authenticity. We will peel back the false layers in ways that we never imagined possible. We will uncover soul gifts that we did not know we had because there's a shadow fear covering them up. We will step into more and more and more of our fullness, more and more and more of our greatness, more and more and more and more of our just authentic wholeness when we peel back all of the false. And that's shadow work. That's shadow work. It's just, it's right. That's a big part of it. And that's the fruits of our labor. So let me talk about this aspect of shadow work. And it's around this Medusa Mars. By the way, in the challenge, we are working with Medusa. So again, if you're like, Sabrina, this is great in theory. I fucking love it. How do I do this? Do the challenge. It's totally free. It's open to all who identify with women, all who identify primarily with women, right? And you can sign up there or there. It's super easy. Halloween weekend. But we'll be working with Medusa in these mysteries. But feeling into during this full moon and after, of course, because the energy doesn't just end there. Medusa is going to be strong even going forward beyond this. But is this taking off false masks? We all wear masks. We all wear masks. For those of you who know astrology, our ascendant is in a way our mask. Our rising sign is in a way our mask. It's how we present ourselves to the world. For instance, I'm a Sag rising. Many people will look at me and go, oh my God, Sabrina, she is such an adventurer. She's a global traveler. She's just this free spirit. She's a seeker. Of course, and I have that aspect in me, but that's not my primary. That's how the world perceives me. And it's like a mask of sorts, right? Not a bad mask, but this is a time where we can feel into what are the masks that are holding us back. What masks are you wearing sexually? What masks are you wearing in relationships? Go through all of your relationships. Where am I wearing a mask? Where am I pretending to be something I'm not? Where am I compromising my authenticity, my integrity? We have a Martha Beck interview coming out around integrity, right? The Way of Integrity, a beautiful, beautiful book by her. Did an awesome interview with her. That's coming out in a couple of weeks, I think start of November. Martha Beck, and it'll be after the Andrew Harvey interview comes out, so a few weeks. But Way of Integrity. And so feeling into, where am I out of integrity in my life? This is intense. I'm telling you, this is a big, big moon, and it's really, really, really beautiful for our soul's path when we work with the energy. And again, a great way to work with this energy is the challenge. Another great way, so if you're a man or identified with the masculine, not the feminine, I know this challenge. It's for ReWilding for women. It's our 6th birthday. 6th birthday. Big celebration. And you might be going like, F you, Sabrina. Like, I want some embodiment practices. There's a free workshop on sabrinalynn.com. It's the Heart Warrior, and it is a great energy to work with while Mars is conjunct Medusa. It's a great energy to line up, and this is open to anyone, women, men, all genders, all everything. Opening up that channel to align heart with warrior energy. So it's like becoming sacred warrior. Passion, love in action. I don't know why I keep using that word, love in action, love in action, love in action. This is also going to start to feel like a time of action. It's going to start to feel like a time of action. There's a lot of fire, and there's a lot of planets that are going to start to go to direct. They have started to go direct. So you might feel like love in action, action. But if we can align it, like, that's the challenge here. That's what's being asked of us, is to align it with our passion, our heart's deepest desires, our soul's longing to express our soul self. That, and whatever layers we have to peel back, false masks we have to take off, shadow work, shadowy realms that we need to go in to bring light and love to, we do it, right? Because then living from that place of just deep fucking authenticity, deep integrity becomes the most fulfilling thing. It becomes this, wow, I had no idea life could feel this fulfilling, this on purpose. I had no idea I could feel this on purpose. And I had no idea that I could feel this much love, that I could receive this much love, that I could always feel in love, surrounded by love, giving love, full of love. It brings all of that. Whew. All right, so I hope to see you maybe in the Warrior Workshop, maybe in the challenge. Again, you'll find all of those links all over the place, but sabrinalynn.com is where you can go to get the Warrior, well, and the challenge too. And if you want to do the challenge, check out rewildingforwomen.com and have an absolutely amazing journey through this full moon. It is potent, it is powerful, it is juicy, it is beautiful. Do ritual, do ceremony, get out of just the mental realm, get into your body, stomping, drumming, right? Drumming, stomping, listening to some shamanic tracks. There's a lot of shamanic medicine man, medicine woman energy that's available. And it's very, very supportive. So get earthy, get grounded, get out in nature, just like really connect into the natural world. Whatever that is for you. It might just be taking a hot bath and just connecting in with water, right? Whatever that is for you. But lean in, lean in. These veils are really thin. I'll close with this. We have a beautiful support team of about 17 women who support ReWilding for Women and just support our online groups and our programs and all of that. They're an amazing crew of women. They shared a few things that they're feeling about this full moon. So I'll close on that and you can feel into it. And they really are in a place where they feel into what serves. What serves. Here's what I'm feeling. I mean, they're priestesses, right? They're these witchy, beautiful, glorious priestesses. And it's what serves this moment? What is it that's arising in me that serves this moment? And one was, the veils are very thin. The veils are very thin. Maybe it's a good time to feel into how the world is talking to us, how spirit is spirit. I do that in quotes, whatever word works for you, guides, however that works for you. But feel into, how is the world talking to me? How is my soul talking to me? What are those like little breadcrumbs on my breadcrumb trail? And so just let the veils be thin. Let the world talk to you. Let yourself hear, see, feel. I always call it those like shamanic eyes. Open up your shamanic eyes, your shamanic senses. Another share was ritual. And I want to read these words because they're so incredibly beautiful. I suddenly remembered that the reasons we feel so called to ritual is because it's where the mundane meets the spiritual, and it's something we can do to marry them. It's something we can do to marry the mundane, and the spiritual is in ritual. So feel into that. What ritual are you called to? What ceremony? What is it? And then the final piece was, this one, I love these words too, so I want to read them to you too, was definitely feeling the theme of cutting through my own bullshit. And then she goes on to talk about warrior energy. So maybe feeling into that, cutting through my own bullshit. I love it. All right. I love you. Thank you for being here. If you liked this video, leave a comment, subscribe so you don't miss future ones. We're currently doing new moons, full moons. Leave a comment below letting us know what was the most powerful part of this video for you. So that's even a great way of just reflecting. That's my homework. I know some people hate the word homework, but just take a moment and like right now, like put this into action. What was the most powerful thing, or what's the thing that's ringing in my head right now? I'd love to read them. We read every comment. We love our community. We love being with you. If you know of someone who this might serve, maybe send it to them. Totally up to you. If you want to come and hang out and chat about this video, we're in the Facebook group. Just search Sabrina Lynn ReWilding. We're having lots of conversations over there with posts and all of that. Also, feel free to join the challenge right now so you don't forget. All right. So much love to you. Happy full moon. Mwah.